What's going on, everybody? Wow, it's been quite an eventful week. Most of us have been buried under all of the Scandival drama, but today we're going to be talking about Real Housewives of New Jersey. We had a new episode that dropped. Margaret and Jennifer had it out. They shared words. I got the Brav Bros ready and here so that we can discuss it all. I hope you're ready. Let's dive in, shall we? Oh, hi, it's me, Zack Peter, pop culture junkie, reality TV insider, published author, and host of the No Filter with Zack Peter podcast. Here I'll bring you all the latest news on the Real Housewives, deep dives into celebrity legal scandals, and unfiltered combos with your favorite stars. I've got you covered. And yes, I always keep receipts. So be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for all the latest tea. Now, let's dive in. All right, are you ready to dive in? I know I am. Please welcome from the Brav Bros, Steele and Shooter.
What's
Hi,
up,
guys.
guys?
What's going on, guys?
How are you guys? Are you
Exhausted.
living for this week's? I mean, yeah. The Scandival has had me. I don't even know what day it is. Shooter texted me this morning. He's like, "We're still good to go live today, right?" And I was like, "It's Tuesday." And I was like, "Oh shit, it's Wednesday."
That was me, but yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know who's texting you anymore.
I know. Oh, how are you guys feeling? So we're in season 13, Real Housewives of New Jersey, just wrapped episode 5. We had a big blow up between Marge and Jennifer. How are you guys feeling coming out of this episode?
You want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. I mean, I feel pretty good, honestly. It's still a little weird trying to get used to Teresa not, kind of poking the bear and getting involved in these conflicts. She's trying to diffuse situations. It's pretty strange to see, but it feels even weirder getting used to it, like not expecting her to jump in. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like Jen and Marge just screaming at each other. I did kind of feel like Jen Fessler, just like so fed up with it. Just shut up. No, just enough of both of you. I don't want to hear you screaming over each other. I want to get to know everybody and get into some new stuff, not you guys just yelling at each other. But I mean, aside from that, it seems like it was a pretty good episode.
Yeah, I can't stand
nothing.
it.
But we're fighting over nothing.
Yeah,
I can't. Like, that's my biggest pet peeve on the planet is when people are arguing and they just try to like out yell the other person. It's like nothing's getting accomplished. You're both just saying like consistently meaner and meaner things, and you're not getting anywhere. Clearly, the goal here is not to find a commonplace. It's just to burn and eviscerate the other person. And that's not even fun to watch because you're watching these women just literally yell at the same time to the point that Jen Fessler has a panic attack, stands up from the table, storms off, and reminds them like, hey, I have neighbors, you assholes. Like, I can't imagine sitting in my backyard and hearing women or men or anybody argue like that in my neighborhood. Like, could you imagine if someone was screaming you're a disheveled drug addict in like a suburban Jersey neighborhood?
Oh my God. I would love it. I would be like out there, like, what's going on? I'll be vacuuming the grass outside. Like, I'll do whatever I have to do to see what's going on.
Let me ask somebody without a reality TV podcast. I think they'd have a different take than we would.
They might.
Most normal people might not enjoy it, but I would be living for it, especially if I knew it was the Jersey Housewives. I would be like getting my phone out and live streaming it.
That's what I'm curious. Do you think the neighbors know? Like, are they huddled around the fence watching them film and then this pops off and they're like, ooh.
They have to be, because like when production comes to film, they have vans and they have equipment and they have a crew that like, something is going down.
Yeah. But I feel like the majority of Jersey people are probably like maybe even ashamed at their behavior. Like, oh God, you're giving Jersey another bad name with this outburst. Don't say that I live in this neighborhood. Like, I feel like that's probably a lot of it.
Jersey does that to themselves.
I'm sure they hate it. Like, I'm literally sure they're like so over the show and over like the association of like table flipping, and they can't be bothered by it.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you think that the Jen's intention of having a chicken and waffles brunch would have brought everybody together? She was very convinced that this was not going to ensue in the chaos that it did.
I think that anytime you hear those words uttered, it's foreshadowing that something's about to pop off. What we've learned is that these women cannot go out together without having an issue. Like, it's not possible. You either need to invite half of them and leave the other half out. Well, in this case, it's literally just Teresa and Jen. You can leave them out and everybody else will be fine. To mirror what Shooter said earlier, it's interesting to me that you see Teresa being the peacekeeper, and even when she leaves with Jennifer Aydin's like losing her mind, trying to garner some support from Teresa, I believe, when they're standing outside of the house together. And instead of Teresa jumping in like, oh, Marge is the worst, she just is like, yeah, yeah. Like she kind of nods along. You don't usually see her not add fuel to the fire. So I thought that was interesting. But I think that we just need to move away from this shit. It's not entertaining anymore. It's not fun to watch. It's not moving the story forward at all. And I think that Jen Aydin's biggest issue and Marge's biggest issue, both of them combined, it's just they're not looking for resolution. And I think a big issue with all of the women is they're not actually looking for a resolution. So for Jen Fessler to put on this brunch in the hopes that it's going to be peaceful is just short-sighted, because if we were going to see these women try to come to some kind of agreement or some kind of terms, then that's one thing. But we don't. We constantly see some kind of agreement being made, or they're at least going to try to be more comfortable with one another. And then they immediately go talk shit behind their back. That's like, yeah, we're cool over here. Now let me go throw some digs at you to somebody else. And nobody in this group has loyalty to anybody. So if you're talking to one woman, you're now talking to the whole group.
Do you think that Jennifer was wrong, Shooter, to give her history and perspective of some of the other women to the new girls? Do you
Absolutely.
think she was? You think okay? Do you
Yeah,
think
no,
she
it's
was
just
trying to sway them?
I can't. Yeah, she was absolutely. The intention is interesting because, yes, I think she was entirely wrong. But when she explained it, she seems to have no issues with it. It doesn't seem like she's trying to persuade them to be on her side, because if she was, I feel like she really would have thought about it and been like, oh, Jen Fessler's friends with Marge. Chances are she's not going to come to my side. Or, Rachel and Danielle don't really seem to want to get into the mix. They want to get to know everybody. I really do think that Jen just thought like it's really important for them to understand where everybody stands and how we are with each other. But I don't think she was trying to persuade them in the same way. It's really interesting. I feel like that little switch isn't there for her, that she thinks like a strategic person. She just wants everybody to know everything. And I don't really know what to make of it, but that's just kind of who Jen is.
So you think Marge overreacted?
Marge always overreacts. I think that she knows that and we know because we, reported on the news over the last like 6-8 months that more about Marge is going to come out over this season. And I think that she's just waiting for that to happen. So she is just striking at everybody to try to knock them down as much as possible before that happens. So I feel like she knows what's going to happen.
I don't know. I kind of feel like Jennifer and Teresa like to plant seeds in other people's minds so that they can get them to come over to their side. I mean, I think we see that a little bit in this episode with like Teresa and her daughters, and we get them on camera and they're talking badly about Joe and Melissa. Like, I think at this point they're also reality TV savvy, that they're trying to form alliances. And I think, Jennifer was trying to get people to kind of not trust Margaret, or at least have some guards up around her.
I think she's trying to do that. I think the issue with Jen Aydin is she thinks that she's a wordsmith. She thinks that she strings together all of these great reasons for why you should not trust Marge. Immediately after she claims that she's not trying to make them take sides, or she's not trying to stir the pot, she goes to the birthday party and talks about it again. It's like, okay, if you're not trying to do that, then shut the fuck up. But you're going to keep talking about it because you're still trying. These women have told you where they stand. And yet you're still like, well, I'm just giving you the history. Her level of semantics to change a topic is remarkable, because she just changes the wording of it. Well, I'm not talking shit. I'm giving you the history. It's like, no, you're not. You're stirring up old shit to try to get them on your team. That's the same thing. You can't just change the wording.
Why else bring up the history? Like, what is the history relevant to them, considering they weren't here for any of the history?
It has nothing to do with them.
Judge the women based off of their current, in real time experiences.
Exactly.
I'm with you, Steele. I think Jen was trying to stir the pot. I think Teresa and Jen know that they need some allies, and they were hopefully trying to sway the newbies a bit. I mean, even Melissa and Jennifer, when they went to lunch in this episode, and they're talking about, how Jennifer's like, well, I heard that Margaret was trying to persuade you to leave Joe. It's like, what is the point in bringing that up if you're not trying to plant seeds in Melissa's head?
It makes no sense to me, and I don't know why she needs to keep putting it out there. Like, their marriage is not going to be affected by what you're saying. Their relationship with Marge is not going to be like Melissa tries, I think, to brush it off a little bit at the lunch. Like when she starts going on Marge or whatever, she's kind of like, all right, all right. I think Jen's problem, as we see time and time again, she doesn't know when to stop.
Yeah.
I think she thinks she's gaining ground, like she's gaining traction. So she like doubles down, triples down. And instead, she just gives more fuel for Melissa to go to Marge and be like, hey, she's talking shit again. And then Marge immediately, she's got her gun cocked and loaded, ready to go at the brunch. Like she's not going there for snacks and chicken and waffles.
Yeah.
She's going there to start some shit. Like,
yeah, I also think Jen knows that at least if she's not going to make an impression on Melissa, she has the camera time to make an impression on the audience. So if she lets the audience know that Margaret's trying to influence Melissa to leave Joe, then at least they'll start to distrust Margaret a little bit more.
I don't know. I think you guys are giving Jen way too much credit. I don't think she's that bright.
Where did I give her
don't
credit?
think she's that bright at all.
I didn't say I said she's not. That's why she strings this shit together. It doesn't work. I said she thinks that she is. She's not.
The idea that she is trying to twist the audience and give them a little bit of, I just don't think she thinks that far. I think that she has one singular focus in her mind, and it's to take down Marge in any way, shape, or form. And I don't really think that she's that bright about it. I think that she's just trying everything that she can, and she thinks that she's probably smart. I think that's part of the problem.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
No,
I was giving her a lot of credit. More credit than I think she deserved.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I don't think she deserves any credit. I think, and if I worded it incorrectly previously, Shooter, I apologize. I don't think that she is doing well in the situation. I don't think that she's very bright. I think that I'm not calling her stupid, but I think her approach to all of this makes no sense. I think she is under the impression that she's killing it. I think she's under the impression that she is swaying these women, that she is garnering support, and she's doing the opposite. It's pretty much just Jen alone on her own island. And Teresa either actually doesn't want to contribute to the drama, or she's really holding on to this I'm a new person trend where she's trying to convince people that she is actually changed. Again, all the evidence points to that she is making progress because I haven't seen the otherwise yet. But I think Jen's alone. I think that she's doing a terrible job. I think she's just digging a hole. And Marge, the difference is Marge will maintain support from her close friends. They're not going to turn on her because people are much more afraid of Marge than they are of Jen. So Marge can do the same shit because they're both literally doing the same thing. They're just talking shit about one another, yelling, screaming. The difference is Marge will hold on to her friends. Jen's still going to strike out.
Well, do you think that Jennifer had a point in saying that Margaret has a pattern of losing friends?
I think that if you look at the evidence, yeah.
Really?
That's fair.
Well, yeah, I guess that's kind of true. I mean, and they did show all the friends that she had a falling out with. But
I mean, that's also generalized. Like, how many friends do we have that you could put a picture up and put an X through? Like, oh, not friends anymore. Like,
yeah,
that's true. That is true. Guys, just a reminder, we are doing a show April 27th in Philly at City Winery. Are you guys excited? Steal and Shooter. We're going to be live.
Getting more and more excited every day.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Get your tickets now at nofilterlive.com. Steele, what were you going to say?
I said I keep looking at the venue. Like, I've looked at pictures of the venue to try to see what it's going to look like over there because I'm like,
I know. I've never even been to Philly.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You're in for, a real treat. And like I said, a lot of our friends are going to be there and they're not mellow at all. So it'll be a fun show.
Yeah, we should go down and do a scouting mission.
Yeah. Maybe we'll go. Maybe we'll go and do like a little pre-show and we'll go watch something else there so we can learn the lay of the land.
Yes. Yeah. We'll walk the floor. I love it. All right, guys, get your tickets at nofilterlive.com. April 27th, we're going to be at City Winery in Philly. Me and the Brav Bros are going to be live. We're going to give you a full show. And we're also going to be doing a meet and greet beforehand. VIP tickets are selling out fast. So go to nofilterlive.com right now. Save your spot for April 27th at City Winery in Philly.
Yeah, come hang out.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what the people are saying. Are Steele and Shooter going to give us Magic Mike realness or nah?
Look, I would love to say no, but you never know. You get me
Yeah,
you
if the
get me
price is
jacked up
right,
enough.
there's
Yeah,
always
that's true.
yeah,
We're very shallow.
yeah,
So
no issues there.
yeah,
Aren't
I don't
we
know.
all?
Maybe. If you show up, married, do it a 444, then I will do a quick Magic Mike segment. How about that? If you show up.
There we go.
Yeah,
I
I
put
don't
myself
know.
in these situations
Yeah,
all the
I know
time,
you
and then
do.
I
Yeah.
usually lose. It usually doesn't go my way, but like, hey, if it sells a ticket, whatever. I'm petty.
Let's do it. Okay, Brian says, who wants Danielle Staub as a friend anyway? I mean,
Me?
that's really? I would not want Danielle
Oh,
Staub.
not Danielle. Stop. I'm thinking about that new Danielle. My bad.
Not
Oh,
Danielle Staub.
yeah. No, not that.
My fault. Different person. My bad. Not me.
Stephanie says Marge will see her demise this season because she has let it be known that she doesn't like Teresa. It's Teresa's show. Bye, Marge. I don't know about that. I feel like I don't know.
I think Marge is.
Margaret has no
I
story.
really think that Margaret is, and Steele and I like to call her Marge Jr. because of Marge Jr.
Marge Senior.
We think that Marge Jr. is sort of like the pro version of what Giselle is in Potomac. She never has her own storyline. She's always just talking shit on other people and just getting mixed up in their shit. Just like I want to see once, and maybe it'll happen this year based off of the rumblings that we've heard. But maybe this year we'll see her kind of take center stage and we get to get some personal stories from her because you don't really get much. Like her husband's a robot that just does whatever she says. And she gets to take front stage by talking shit on other people and putting her nose in other people's business. And she's good at it and people respect her for it. And I don't really understand it. Like, get your own storyline. Get the hell out of here.
I feel like we have a lot of them. Like I even feel like Melissa, well, I guess Teresa has a story. Teresa's consistently had a storyline.
Yeah.
Whether it was her marriage or the fraud or going to prison or dealing with her husband getting deported. And now she has Louis. Melissa and Joe have kind of struggled with their storylines over the past. I guess Dolores has a bit of a storyline this season. Margaret did have her storyline like with her book. Was that last season or the season? But that was last season, right? And that's why she had beef.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why she had beef with Jennifer because Jennifer was judging her for the whole book thing. So I feel like at some point housewives do kind of reach that stale stage of like, well, what is your storyline? What are you bringing new that's rich that's going to add to the cast? But I also feel like when you have this many women on the cast, it's hard to get into everybody's individual storylines.
I agree that it's hard to do it, but I don't think it's impossible. And I think, there's a place on each show for one person to not have a storyline and kind of be that person to stir the pot and push it forward. Like you look at Giselle, love her, hate her, whatever you want to, wherever you stand with her. I'm over her too. I've never liked her, but wherever you stand with her, you can't argue that what she gives to that cast is kind of stirring the pot. She doesn't really like to divulge her own personal life, as we know. So I do think there's a place for her. I think there is a place for Marge. I think the issue that Marge is going to run into this year, if we don't see a storyline, is she's buying too hard into being like the bully right now. That it's not coming off well. Like she's going to lose the audience more so than she maybe already has, because what I saw in this most recent episode is not fun. That's not fun to you. I don't want to watch you yell at another woman over her while you're trying to have an argument. That's not fun for me. So I think she runs the risk of doing too much. But I do think there's a place on Real Housewives, each franchise, for that person that maybe doesn't have a storyline, but is good at like stirring the pot.
Put her on Ultimate Girls Trip.
Hey, Shooter.
Oh, God.
Shooter's favorite.
The Isle of Misfit Toys.
You're not looking forward to season 4?
Oh, God. Isn't Marisol on that one, or isn't she in the 5th one?
No, Marisol's on season 3, the one that's coming out right now.
Oh, God, I can't stand Marisol, and she needs to go. And this is what happens: is we can't stand people. We're like, they had a really bad season, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, they're on Ultimate Girls Trip. Like, no.
Then we get more of them.
I'm not looking forward to season 3. After the trailer that they released, none of the women look like they have any genuine connections or chemistry. Like there's nothing about the season 3 cast that was interesting to me.
What's the problem?
That's the risk of the ensemble shows. But I think they should almost tailor it to bring like 2 from each. So everyone's got their own little posse and then they can branch out from there. But if you just have like 1 from individuals, you run the risk of them not, like you said, having that connection together.
Yeah.
Well, they just brought such an interesting pairing. Like they brought Heather and Whitney from Salt Lake City, who already have beef, and then they brought Giselle and Candace from Potomac, who already have beef. So it was just an odd pairing. But back to Jersey, Melissa and Teresa. So we see Teresa. I was very confused with her wedding dress scene because she wasn't trying on her own wedding dress. She was trying on another wedding dress that has nothing to do with her own wedding, which to me was like a blatant product promotion for Mark Zanino. We see her kind of like designing her veil and wanting to put love, love, love on it. And even Gia's like, this is stupid. Why do you want words on your veil? But then we get into the Joe Gorg of it all and how there's a possibility that he might not end up attending the wedding, which I didn't know was a real thing until the drama ensued later down that season. I didn't know that that was ever a real option for him to not attend the wedding. But I thought it was strange that Teresa didn't immediately think of having Joe walk her down the aisle.
She didn't? I thought that that was on her mind, but because of the issues, that was now out the window.
She
No,
never
I don't
asked
think
him.
that she ever asked. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. She
interesting.
never asked him. And then I think Gia was like, there was a sliver of a chance where you were considering it. And then I think that's died down now.
Oh, yeah. She said you were like days away from asking him or something, right?
Yeah.
I think I think this whole situation, it's been going on for so long. We talked about it last week during the recap. I do think you hit a certain point, like Danielle said. At some point it becomes insurmountable. You can't repair this man, not even because you don't want to, but you just drift too far apart. And like I'll bring us our personal life back into it. Like I'm sure we all know friends that we have. They might not be family members, but I'm sure you have friends that you're probably still cool with, but you just drift apart. You probably haven't talked to them in like a year or longer, but you can probably remember people you're close to where you're like, yeah. And at a certain point, you try to reconnect and it's just awkward. You're like, it's been a long time. Like, how are you? And like you have a little back and forth, but just never the same. And I think that's amplified when it's family members. And I think that that's kind of where they're at.
Yeah. It's just, I honestly thought that the wedding would have been a great opportunity for them to kind of work things out, though, because like if she had asked him to walk her down the aisle and had made Joe and Melissa more a part of her wedding, I feel like this could have been an opportunity for them to mend their relationship. But instead, she's like excluding them so much. And it's interesting because Gia even said, I think in her confessional, when they asked her, like, when was the last time you and your uncle were good? And she's like, it was actually just before Louis. We were over there at their house all the time doing summers together. And I thought that that was very telling. I'm not blaming Louis for why their relationship has fallen apart because I don't think it's his fault specifically. But I think Teresa and how she's excluded them because of Louis, I think is a big part of why their relationship has fallen apart.
I think so. And I actually have a question I want to ask the two of you guys because I noticed something last night over the past two episodes. When Melissa spoke with Teresa's kids, obviously it was super awkward. And when you get to talk to Gia and Gia says, it feels like a wall goes up when my mom and uncle start to argue and we don't get to talk to my cousins and it's really sad. When Melissa asked Antonia yesterday in the car, you still talk to your cousins, right? And she said, yes, every day.
Yeah.
So
And they
who's telling the truth? Do you think that Antonia is just like, yeah, sure, yeah, we talk every day, like don't worry about it, mom? Or do you think that Gia is pushing this narrative even more because she's so show conscious, and it kind of makes you think like I get a little excited at the thought that Teresa's playing this game and she's not really changed at all, and we're gonna see it flip in a switch in a couple of weeks, and it's just gonna blow the fuck up. And I'm really excited for something like that. I'm going to talk myself into it over the next couple of weeks. But I like the idea that also G is getting involved and she's playing the game and there's all this going on. And then out of nowhere, it just blows up. Like that would be so awesome to see. But when I saw that last night, I'm like, I wonder who's telling the truth there. Like, is Gia covering for her mom for the show? Or is Antonia just like, yeah, mom, get out of my face?
I think it's maybe a little bit of both because we saw Gia and Melissa last week, right? Where they kind of came face to face and Melissa's like, they wish they could have come, but they were, the two other kids had other engagements that night.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gia's like, oh, yeah, we miss them, whatever, whatever. I think Antonia probably does talk to them. Maybe not Gia, but maybe the other girls. I feel like Gia is very much team her mom and she's anti anything Gorga at this point. So I think in Gia's head, that is her reality, that she doesn't talk to any of them. But I think the younger girls, maybe not Milani, but maybe like Adriana, I'm pretty sure there has to be something. And even if there isn't, like, why would you hold your cousins against like they have nothing to do with any of this. Like it's issues between your parents. It's nothing to do with them as kids, and they can still all hang out and stuff.
But I feel like it was a precedent that was set not by the kids. So Melissa wants to play
Mhm.
this card now where she is holier than thou. Like, I would never bring you guys into it, this, that, whatever. Dev, my wife, pointed out she wants to leave the kids out of it. She pulled her kids out of school with Teresa's kids because she didn't want them in the same school. That happened previously. So
Yeah, but it didn't put the kids in a position to make a decision. It kept the kids apart, but it wasn't like, let me influence. I think Teresa influences her daughters a lot. She talks to them about Joe. She talks to them about Melissa. We remember even when the kids were young, like there's that scene of Melania where she was dancing on the stripper pole and she's like, I'm Melissa. So it's like the kids were very conscious that their parents did not get along with Joe and Melissa from a very early age. And I feel like Teresa and even Joe Judice often would influence the girls to not like Joe and Melissa and would tell them, like, look at what they're doing. Look at how they're hurting our family. Look at what they're saying about us in the press. And I think that's why Teresa's girls are so much more, anti Joe and Melissa.
I agree. I see what you're saying, and I agree. I think that it's hard to say just because we hear one thing on TV and then we see another thing come out on social media. I think it's hard to say that Melissa and Joe are not also in their kids' ears about Teresa and Louis. I think that we see it more so because, Gia's obviously taken on a much larger role. Like we get confessionals out of her. We get a lot more input from her. She's chiming in on social media. She's also older,
Yeah.
I think it's hard to make the judgment that they don't talk shit to their kids about those two. I think that whether it's Teresa or possibly production might be in Gia's ear at this point and trying to like get her to push the narrative as well. So it's hard to make that judgment. We don't get enough info behind the scenes of Joe and Melissa, and probably intentionally so that we have these discussions like we're having now. But I don't know. I think everybody's shady in this. None of them are reasonable. They're all shady.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, like, listen, I get it. Like, Teresa's mad that like Joe and Melissa came on the show behind her back, and whether or not Joe and Melissa want to craft a different narrative, they did come on the show behind Teresa's back, in a sense that like. If your family is on a reality show, like if my family were on a reality show, I would never agree to be on the reality show without having conversations about it multiple times, like in depth ahead of actual filming. So I understand Teresa's frustration, but I also think Teresa, I don't know. I feel like I get why Teresa doesn't like them, but I'm also like, I don't know. I just want them to like work it out so that we don't keep talking about this same family drama.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Bring back Caroline and Dina.
That works.
That family drama.
That would be fun. That would be great.
Yeah, my wife's rewatching from season 1, so I'm seeing stuff that I've never seen before. And Caroline Manzo is gold. She is. Anytime I've seen her on the screen, she is great, and I've thoroughly enjoyed watching like some of the old school stuff. By the way, Joe back in the day he's a piece of shit. Now that guy was an asshole early on. I can't stand him.
Worst.
Like he's just like he would be canceled today if the early shit that he was talking was being repeated in 2023.
Well, a lot of them would be though. You could watch all the shows like that.
What, are you defending Joe? What are you, Joe?
We watched Below Deck season 1. Half of that season could be canceled.
Yeah, well, that's different. That shit was.
There was one episode that we couldn't even find because they had to take it off the air.
They did because it was so ridiculous. Because people were banging in the hot tub and there was a bunch of like off-color shit being said.
Yeah,
I know. It's a lot of the I mean, even like all the Housewives, like the first couple of seasons, like if you go back and watch it with the different lens now, with today's lens, like it's not.
But that's also true of like I've watched movies from like the early 2000s where I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, what did you guys think of Valentina's 5th birthday party? Danielle hosted it. She invited some of the girls. To me, it was very over the top. And I'm like, this is a little unnecessary. Like, I remember Taylor Armstrong when she had her over the top, like, what was it, like an Alice in Wonderland themed birthday party for her daughter. But like, this was like a rave, like a Jersey rave. Like, I was waiting for them to start popping Molly.
I feel like that's like what Danielle brings, like that extravagant like birthday. And at first, Like my fiance even said, like, who's this party for? Is it for Danielle or is it for Valentina? It's like, I think a little bit of both. But then you see Valentina, who's 5, by the way, and is smarter than half of the people that we see on Bravo, is like, it's crazy to see. Like, she really appreciated it and like she was really into it the whole time. And it was a nice party. I love that Danielle. We get the difference between Danielle and Jen Fessler, where Danielle's like, no, we're not doing any shit at my daughter's birthday party. I'm gonna walk right over there, like, what the fuck's going on? We're not doing this today, right? And then you get Jen Fessler, who just screams at the top of her lungs, and if she had a piece of mozzarella, she'd probably like pop it in her mouth just to go crazy. And just Steele, you like that. But you get to see the two of them. Like Danielle is actually with way more hands on. Jen Fessler's like, oh my God, I never imagined this would happen. It's, I don't know. I feel like it was a quintessential extra Jersey party. And that's, I feel like what we kind of got away from over the last couple of years with this cast, like inject some new blood. Let's get back to the Jersey roots. Even though she's from Staten Island, she's got one of the craziest Staten Island accents, and her kids have them too. It's great.
We don't have like the big extravagant parties on Jersey that like we get
Not
on
for
some
kids.
of the other shows.
Yeah.
Well, not even for the women. Like I'm trying to think of the last big like we just had Teresa's Love Bubble party.
True.
And it was like cute, but it wasn't like the grand extravagant like big production. Like the last big production party I remember was Margaret's first birthday party on her first season, and she was like brought in, what was it, like on a horse or something? Like, you know,
Yeah.
she really brought out all the theatrics with it, but like we don't even get those big parties. Like we need a Kyle Richards white party in Jersey, but it's going to be cheetah print.
But I think that's what we're getting with Danielle. I think that she
I think
brings
Danielle's
that.
bringing that now. Yeah.
And I'm like, I am 100% on board with Danielle to get like a long-term contract, extend her. When you have a star on a baseball team, you lock him down with a franchise tag, you give him that 10-year, $300 million, pay this woman, keep her on the show, especially with Teresa. Like, there's no telling where she's going to be in 2-3 years. She might take the love bubble out to Cali and start her own show. We don't know. We need a mainstay. Fuda, I think Fuda's treading water. I think she's doing pretty good, but she could go either way still. I think that she has potential, but I'm not 100% in on her. I like her family.
Yeah.
Can we talk about John Fuda's beard?
Oh, God.
Not a fan. Literally not a fan. It's so weird.
I figured it out.
No woman wants to sit on that.
Is it just for men? Does he do like
no. So as far as that, he definitely dyes it.
Yeah,
it's definitely a dye. Why it looks so weird, I pinpointed it. So where we have our beards and Shooter's mustache, it connects to your nose.
Yeah.
All right. If you look at Fuda's, he shaves from like here down. So it's just a little thin strip. Yeah. And that, it distorts the whole image because then it makes him look like he's got a smaller chin. Like it's almost like it's messing with your brain because he takes off the little bit at the top. I don't know why you would do that. I don't know what the
illusion. Yeah,
it is. And like next time you watch, and you'll see the stubble up here. I've been looking at, it's all I can look at now. And then once it's like a train wreck, once you look at it and like realize why it is the way it is, anytime he's on the screen, you're going to stare at his upper lip. So I apologize in advance.
Listen, no woman is looking at that and being like, yeah, I want to sit right there. Like nothing about
it looks pointy. Yeah.
One woman is.
Well, there you go.
I think she's attracted by
it. Look, I think that the newbies, for whatever you want to say about them, whether people like them or not, they love their husbands. The way that Danielle talked about her man, I was expecting legit a Ken doll to walk through the door. That's not what I got. I mean, he's a good looking dude, don't get me wrong, but like I'm expecting this like chiseled, like Jersey Ken. And he walked, I was like, oh, well, wow, the way that she talked about him, she fucking loves this dude. And you look at Rachel Food, she talks about her man. I love that they brought in today that he's got sole custody. He's a proud dad. Like he works his butt off for his kids.
He looked good too.
Shit.
Like he was built, he was in shape. And then, I mean, it sounds like he sold the pizza place and started eating his own. I don't know what happened there.
He stopped selling it and started eating it.
Yeah.
Getting high off his own supply.
Mm-hmm.
Cindy Ma'am says she's in New Jersey. Cindy, you should be coming to our show in Philly on April 27th. Are you coming? If you guys have gotten tickets, let me know so we can give you a shout out because we can't wait to meet you. IRL, bringing the show on the road. Brian says Danielle's husband is a snack.
Well, there you go.
I think he's cute. I mean, listen, I was a little surprised when I saw him take his shirt off for the husband's shoot. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting him to be a little more toned, but he's a cutie.
I
I
don't think
still
he's a
think
bad looking guy. I
Evan's
didn't say that.
No. You
I
just
think
expected more.
I
Yeah,
think
I
Evan
expect what
is
you
the
did.
hottest one.
It's fair.
Yeah,
Evan is the hottest one.
Evan is the hottest one. Is Steele single and straight?
I am straight, but I am very happily married. Sorry, Jamie Lee.
Sorry, Jamie Lee. Jersey husbands are the best.
No, you never met a Philly husband then.
Danielle's is my favorite for sure. I like Evan. Jackie's husband, I think, is the hottest one. Oh, Cindy's gonna try to make it to the Philly show on April 27th. Guys, get your tickets at nofilterlive.com.
Please.
Not a lot of men can pull a mustache.
Hey,
Shooter's mustache.
Fuck
Okay.
yeah.
I always support the stash. You know that.
Oh yeah.
I've always
I thought
given
about moving away and going full beard for a while, but
Really?
it's iconic.
Cabral needs to go back to the
No.
Mary.
That's so sad. He looks great. I didn't mean to start shit. I think he looks great. I didn't mean to. Look, I was simply commenting on how much she raved about the man. I think we all were expecting him to take his shirt off and be just like carved up. That's all I'm saying. I think he's a handsome man. I think he's, a girl dad that gives him an extra 2-point bump there. Like, he's got a lot going for him. I did not mean to start this fire.
Look, Cindy says that April 27th is her husband's birthday. Okay, Cindy, if you come and you bring your husband, then Steele will give him a lap dance.
Wow.
I'm getting signed
now
up.
We've got
all
other
sorts
people.
of stuff.
Yeah, I like this. We're just gonna keep doing this.
I need a man who appreciates Bravo like I do.
There's Brav Bros out there for you.
Oh yeah,
Gotta find them.
We'll get you in touch with a couple.
You need to you need to do something where you get like the Brav Bros together. You need a Brav Bro community for all the bros that watch Bravo.
Maybe we'll start an app. The Brav Bro app.
The Brav Bro app.
You can tune in and talk. It gives you a fake username so nobody knows that you watch Bravo if you're embarrassed about it, and you can talk to other dudes about it.
Yeah. Exception for the stash. Tom Sandoval's stash looks like it reeks of cigarette and strawberry lip gloss. Ew, that is not the taste I needed in my mouth.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't like that at all.
No, that just reads strip club.
Yeah. Steele, you just got hired for a job you didn't even apply for.
I get signed up for shit I don't want to do all the time.
If Steele is going to call out Cabral, he needs to have the abs first.
No problem. I do. So.
Oh, show us your abs.
Good.
There you go.
No, I'm not going to do that.
You'll see the abs in person.
But I have them, so I'm good. Thank you, though.
You'll see the abs in person if you come to the show.
Shooter can attest. He's seen me without a shirt on.
I don't know. It's been a while.
Tom's looks like a 70s porn star. Yeah, I'm not into Tom Sandoval's stash.
No, he shouldn't have done it. I mean, he's always made some weird adjustments to his hair and stash. He's always got some weird shit going on.
He looks like he's not allowed within like 200 feet of a school.
Yeah.
It's not a good look for him. I mean, and now we know he really is a sleazeball.
Yeah. I know. Like the whole thing. Here's my biggest takeaway. And I need to rewatch every single thanks, Steph. Every single other episode with Raquel, because I need to rewatch it from the vantage point that she has not been aloof at all the entire time. I think we all got hypnotized by Raquel. I think that this was the goal from day one. I think she's calculated. I think she's much more intelligent than people give her credit for. I've always said that. I think she's smart, and I think that she plays the Bambi-eyed dumbass because she's able to move around the group without us even questioning it. That's why we're all ripping our hair out. Like, what the fuck happened? How is this possible? Because you weren't expecting her. Go back and watch. When she has that lunch with Katie and Ariana, or that dinner, whatever it was, if you watch that from the vantage point that she knows exactly what she's doing, it's a really different scene. Like, she knows what seeds she's planting. She knows how she's navigating. But I think that she's been that way all along. We were just blind to it because she was masked by James Kennedy. It was the perfect beard because, like, he's in the way. So you're not looking at her shit because he's so loud and obnoxious. She just has free reign to kind of set these pieces where she wants them, get closer to somebody, and boom. Now she's a mainstay on the show. Her problem is she took it too far, got too comfortable, and it came crashing down.
Yeah, I was listening to Stassi's podcast this morning where she addresses everything and she's like, we all thought that Raquel was just dumb, but now it seems like there was a little more strategy. And I think it really is because she got caught up in the fame. She got caught up in the excitement of it all. Once she found out everyone was talking about her dating Nima and Peter and Oliver and Schwartz, like she liked all the fun attention she was getting. And I think she thought that they were going to have like a good reality TV moment at the reunion where they were going to reveal that they're in a relationship together the same way it was like a big announcement last reunion where she left James or they broke up. Like I think she got so caught up in the reality TV of it all and it just like sucked her up and ate her alive. And I don't love that she's playing the victim now. I don't buy the victim bullshit.
No.
And I think it's a dangerous game to play if she's going to throw out there she didn't consent to that being recorded, as she said. And
if she didn't consent to it being recorded, she should be mad at Sandoval. She shouldn't be coming out of the cast.
She shouldn't be sending cease and desist to the cast. Take it up with the man that recorded you. Don't invite him to your apartment late so that we all see that he's going there and just add more fuel to this fire that doesn't need any extra. Like this will burn without adding fuel to the fire.
Yeah. Oh, Steele's quite the strategist. Raquel's therapy by the inch, apparently. Oh.
Is that a dick joke?
That's a dick joke, yeah. That's a high-level dick joke. I like that one.
That's intelligent dick humor. Nice. We are big fans of that here.
Yep.
FYI, Tom's second apology, he used the first person pronoun I 20 times. Ariana's name was mentioned in it 5 times, totally self-centered. I think the second apology was way better than the first apology, and the second apology was way better than Rachel's apology.
But it doesn't matter. It's the key word there is second.
Yeah.
Two. It's irrelevant.
I agree. But I do think the second apology was better than Raquel's apology.
Like when Bill Clinton came out and said, like, oh, I actually did do it. Like, then your apology doesn't mean anything. Like,
people keep thinking that this is fake drama. This is literally one of the realest things to happen in reality TV. So many people are like, they did this for ratings. Vanderpump ratings were fine. They weren't even in production. People are like, well, how did they pull a camera crew together so fast? They literally pulled the crew off of Beverly Hills. That's how you know it's such a lackluster season, because they pulled the camera crew from Dorit's event and immediately sent them to go film Ariana and Tom. It's not fake.
No, it's definitely not fake.
No, we've talked to somebody from the show that is close, very close with Ariana, that has confirmed, like, no, this is horrible. It's very real and it's not pretty.
No. Sandy gives off SDE. I guess.
I think he's got a little small dick energy. I
Really?
can get on board with that. Yeah, I think that
Schwartz has small dick energy.
Yeah, I think.
I feel like, maybe because I've been around Sandoval in person. He definitely has like really strong sexual energy. I wouldn't think that he was hung though.
Well, then what is that then? ADE, average dick energy?
Yeah, ADE, yeah.
ADE, okay. He's got that average dick energy. Okay, that's fine.
Look at if Rachel said, I love D, I like getting it, I put it in all 3. Okay, and I'm such a skank to be your man's chance. She's trash, but I respect it. I mean, if she owned it, I agree with you, Brian. If she owned it, I think more people would just kind of cast her as a reality TV villain and let it play out. I don't like that she's playing the victim, though.
No, it's a bad look.
No.
I think take Marge and Jackie out for this season and then see how it goes. Really? I mean, we've already taken Jackie out. We've already demoted Jackie.
Mhm.
I think Marge is kind of necessary to the formula. I think she kind of keeps the pot going. She keeps the pot stirring. She keeps the storylines moving, even if she doesn't have her own rich storyline at the moment. I just think she's a necessary player.
Yeah, you can't whack Marge.
Yeah.
I feel like at some point Teresa and Melissa are going to have to.
I think the answer is Teresa's going to get her own show. I think that she'll sail off into the sunset. And I think that will be the final chance for Melissa. Like, okay, you wanted a storyline. You think that you belong here. Like, without Teresa, let's see what you got. And I guarantee you when that happens, the first thing Melissa's going to talk about with Teresa off the show is Teresa.
Yeah.
The first word out of her mouth is going to be Teresa. This first season that Teresa's gone.
That's going to be borderline unwatchable.
It's going to be an interesting show without her, but I don't know. I think that's the way it's going.
Yeah, I think Teresa can definitely get her own spinoff. I think people will actually watch a spinoff about her life and her daughters.
I agree. And I think that they set it up perfectly with kind of giving Gia more of a role this year, and maybe next year she'll have more of a role, almost as like a friend of, just to kind of get her like ready for that limelight, which I think she's more than capable of. She's been one in front of a camera for her whole life. Two, she's getting to the point now where she's very comfortable in front of the camera and comfortable being part of the drama and pushing the drama forward. So it's almost like they're vetting their next in line to get like, okay, we're about to push you guys off to do your own thing. Let's make sure we got our ducks in a row. Gia, you're looking good, sounding good. All right, we got our cast.
Yeah, I agree. I think they can do their own show. I think it'll be successful on its own. And I think Jersey can move into the next phase of Jersey, which I think includes Fuda. It includes Danielle and maybe Jen Fessler. I feel like Jen Fessler is a little old.
She's the quintessential, the key friend of. She's great.
Yeah.
She's fucking perfect for what she is. Just leave her there.
She doesn't need to get up any further.
Nope. No further. Don't take her away. It
doesn't seem like she can handle it. Like the fact that she invited them all over and didn't expect it to blow up. Like, have you watched this show before? Like you've been friends with Marge. You know what happens. Why did you think this? Unless it was just really bad acting and she was like, oh no, I didn't expect this to happen. Like, I don't know.
I sensed she was genuinely embarrassed that her neighbors were going to hear all the yelling in the back.
I did like Teresa's little dig. Like, yeah, I've got 6 acres. What do you have?
Yeah, that was funny as shit. Yeah, out of nowhere. I think that I liked the Fessler scene because it was relatable. Like that was a funny like side note because if any of us, or at least if I had somebody at my house and had people over and they were acting like that, I'd be like, dude, get the fuck out like now. So to see that reaction, I was like, okay, cool. Like that's exactly what I would have done. Like if you're gonna bitch and moan like this in front of my friends, family, and neighbors, like you can leave. So I appreciated it. That was like a real moment. I didn't think that was acting at all. I think she was just like, holy shit. But to your point, maybe she's not cut out for it. Maybe she can't handle this kind of noise because we also saw it when she tried to butt in with Dolores and Teresa and Jen Aydin back at the pool party with the mozzarella. When she tried to butt in there, like she was out of her league. The first sentence she said, Dolores was like, whoa, wrong place, wrong people, sit the fuck down. Like you have no voice here. So I think that she needs to know her role, be comfortable and okay with that role, and just stay as the funny friend of, and she'll have a great career.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Danielle and Rachel are the perfect kind of breath of fresh air to kind of reinvigorate Jersey. Rachel's young and has potential, and Danielle has such a big Jersey personality that we can really revamp Jersey with the two of them. That makes it feel young, it makes it feel fresh, and it makes it feel like Jersey Shore meets Real Housewives. Yeah. And I know some people may want to be like, I don't want Jersey Shore and Housewives, but it's like, this is Jersey Housewives. You need a bit of the Jersey Shore.
And I like seeing Rachel Fuda and Danielle come together at the party where they're like conversing with one another. I was like, ooh, I like this. I like that this might be the new crop coming in, and we get to see them just one-on-one, kind of like, what do you think about Jen? What do you think about Marge? Just so we can see the new crew and how they're kind of going to go about their business. Like I like watching a new faction.
I like that they're like family oriented and they like really care about their kids. Like I feel like we've gotten so far away from that in every other franchise. Like we don't talk about the kids ever. And then you get to Jersey and you're like, here's the husbands, here's the kids. And you're like, all right, this is what we're missing. Like, this is what the original like Housewives were all about. Now it's just like we're watching these women who are in their 60s and 70s spend a lot of money. And you're like, all right, like the storylines are getting a little stale. Let's get back to the roots. This is kind of what Bravo has to do. And if this works, this is the blueprint for every other franchise to try to save them.
Yeah. I agree. Where can we watch the bros? You can watch them on their podcast, the Brav Bros podcast. Where else can they keep up with you guys? You can come to our show and meet them at No Filter Night Out, April 27th in Philly. We're going to be live in person at City Winery in Philadelphia, April 27th. Get your tickets at nofilterlive.com. The link is in the description below. But outside of our show on April 27th, where else can they keep up with you guys?
On Instagram at Brav_Bros, on Twitter at Brav_Bros, on TikTok at Brav Bros no_, and then on YouTube at Brav Bros Podcast. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Ghost of
just
the
type in Brav Bros.
season.
You'll find us. We're
Yeah,
the
we
only
pop
Brav
up
Bros
now pretty
around.
quickly.
Well,
There's
this was
there's no one else like stealing shooter. You can find us.
there you go. Well, this was a fun recap. Thank you guys for joining yet again. Breaking Down Jersey. We're here every Wednesday, 12:30 p.m. Pacific, 3:30 Eastern. So you can join us every Wednesday. We'll probably be dipping into some other Bravo drama if it continues to unfold like we did with today's Scandival drama. But go give the Brav Bros a follow and get your tickets to see us live April 27th in Philly at City Winery. Go to nofilterlive.com to get your tickets. Steele, Shooter, thank you guys.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us. Always
Okay.
a pleasure.
Jamie's already subscribed to you guys. She's ready.
Hell yeah, Jamie.
Love to hear it, Jamie. Welcome to the Brav Bros.
All right. Thank you guys. We'll chat with you again next week.
All right. See you, Zach.
Bye, guys.